It's time for Class Racing Today, the podcast for the NHRA class racing fan. Welcome back to another episode of Class Racing Today, classracingtoday.com. This episode brought to you by Tim Stickles, Gutters by Design. Gutters by Design now serving Seacoast, New Hampshire, southern Maine, and Massachusetts. They offer the industry's premier gutter system. They feature a 5-inch channel scratch guard finish that comes with a lifetime warranty. Give them a call today for a free estimate. Thanks, Tim, for supporting the show. If you have any questions or comments, classracingtoday@gmail.com is our email address. Send us a note there. And say hi if you want a shirt or t-shirt or sticker. Send a note there. We'll get that out to you. Bobby and Brian, you're back again. This is becoming a pattern with you guys. What's going on in the world, your worlds today?
Getting ready to race this weekend.
What? Who?
I haven't raced in about, I don't know how long it's been. 3.5, 4 weeks.
I thought you were retiring.
I gave it serious consideration.
You won. You reached the mountaintop.
I know most people are like, that's it, strive for more. And me, I'm just like, oh, that's great. Okay, let me retire.
Which car are you racing?
The super stock car. The stocker is still down for the count.
Where are you racing?
We are in Division 1s, where I am in Rising Sun, Maryland. Cecil County Dragway, which is the quickest track in the country, I would argue. It kind of goes downhill. Like if you just hop on a bike, we'll say, and start at the starting line, you don't even have to pedal. Like you can just coast all the way to the finish line. So it's like a 300 or 400 foot altitude, but I mean, insane times. I'm predicting a stock Eliminator mine shaft, and I don't know about super stock. That one's always a tough call, but I just have a feeling everybody's loading their cars up with weight right now and moving up a class, like doing all kinds of crazy stuff to protect themselves. How about you?
I am going to actually have a birthday party. My youngest son turns 10, so I'll have family over, and I will be trying to hide in a quiet room and follow Texas and now your race to see what's happening. I was going to ask you this weekend, so the Midwest Class Racer guys were in Nebraska, and my buddy Matt Steen won Saturday, so that was pretty cool against, I'm not sure if I've ran into this guy, but Marlon Bogner, I probably messed your name up, sorry, and Matt got the win. But on Sunday, Marlon raced his son David in the final. Have you ever had that as your dad? You never raced the same time your dad has, have you?
No, he was done racing long before I ever started. So I've been trying to get him to get his feet wet again.
You're going to have to go to a combo race and let him run the super stocker, and you can run the other one. And
he doesn't want to run the super stocker. I've been trying to get him to run the stocker, just get back out there, get your feet wet again, see what it's like. He really has no interest. I think he's afraid of, if he doesn't do well, he can't get on me when I mess up anymore. And he doesn't want to lose that privilege, right? Like, who wants to lose that?
It's easier to crew chief from the sidelines than it is from the driver's seat type deal.
Right? Sometimes I wish I could do that.
That would be pretty cool to race your dad in the final. Like, I don't know if it matters who wins at that point. Like, are you happy your dad kicks your butt? Or are you happy you kicked your dad's butt? Like, you're both getting paid, so.
It's not much better than that. I mean, we might not even have to split. We might not even have to formally do the split.
Yeah.
We could do it at dinner later that night.
You just sign the big check over to your dad and like, hey, thanks for the help.
Yep.
But unfortunately, it is the last race of the year for Midwest Class Racers this weekend at Cedar Falls. And I don't have a car, so I'll be trying to spectate that too. I wish they had better coverage. We need to have a live camera going at these races so it's easier to get the results up and going. Normally somebody can get the ladder and stuff. That. But if you guys are there, feel free to post qualifying sheets, ladders, all that stuff right to our page so we can share the knowledge and give people props where that's deserved, I guess.
Yes, please do. I want to give these associations more coverage, and I feel bad when I do a flash news and I finish, and then somebody says, "Hey, you forgot to cover this association or that association, or this national open." That's another thing we can't find results for national opens. But not doing it on purpose. Definitely want to get all of the coverage out there that we possibly can. That was the whole reason for us starting this podcast.
And if you really want to step it up, do a picture of the winner's circle. We'll take that and use it.
Yes, for sure. Send us any pics that you have, because I like to flash up the pics during the flash newses. Just so people can associate the name in the car and see your happy moment.
And then also this weekend, let's not forget to continue the tradition of the LTD, Let Trista Drive campaign. I think that was the funniest part about St. Louis, is how fast that took on and got viral. So I want to see that in Texas. Put the LTD on the back window of your car, and let's get Derek out of her car. If people that don't know, Derek Fenner took over his wife's car this year, and I don't know if he booted her out or if there was domestic involved or got kicked out or if they've been fighting over it, but he gets one win in her car and now he's hogging it and won't let her drive again. So that's what the LTD for is. And put it on your back window. Let's get Derek kicked out of her car. He can fix his own and have his own fun and give her car back. She's a better driver anyways.
Overwhelm them with pressure.
Before you guys move on, I just realized, and I know last week we were supposed to say something, I totally forgot, but last week was the 1-year anniversary of this show, and I just wanted to let everyone be aware this 1 year ago today was the start of Class Racing Today. So good work, gentlemen. You guys have been awesome, making a name for yourself and getting out there and showcasing the sport. So good work.
Does not feel like years went by.
It's crazy.
I know, that was the quickest year ever.
Well, it was an odd year too.
Indeed, yeah. But congrats, Craig. Thank you, Craig, for everything that you do. Your production and your sound is amazing. Your video quality, everything you do is wonderful. I wish I could sit in that awesome studio you have. Someday I'll get out there to see it.
Someday you'll have to be in studio, like a full-on round the table group. That'd be fun.
I'm gonna thank
out there.
I'm gonna thank all the
cab out to South Dakota.
I want to thank everybody that's helped out with sponsoring and donations, and too. Like it's a lot of work making this thing happen, and we have a lot of pretty significant investment on keeping everything going. And the people that have reached out and helped already, I really appreciate it. And it's kind of hard to make this thing go without help. So everybody that's been helping so far, thank you very much. We do appreciate it, and we're able to keep the lights on for another show, and we made it a year, so that's a win.
Well, and the other thing to remember is one of the best ways to help support the show is just get it out there, share it out to more people, so we have more people listening and consuming it and getting the insider info. So good work. And Bobby, you are killing it on the detail work, because I know that's your wheelhouse. So good work. It's been a fun year. I mean, I started knowing almost less than nothing about this sport, and just by listening and hanging out with you guys, I've a much better appreciation of it. And someday Brian will let me drive his car.
I would like to drive my car again someday. It seems like a distant future, but it'll come around.
Well, our guest today has driven multiple cars, and speaking of hitching a cab out to South Dakota, I think his current car might possibly, could have been a cab back in the day, or a police vehicle. We'll have to ask him. But from Salem, Ohio, we have Mr. Eric Campolito. Eric, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I don't know why the hell you picked me, but I appreciate it.
You're a young gun. You're a hell of a driver. You travel everywhere, and just by watching you do it, I've been to a lot of races this year that you've been at. You don't have the big, the stacker, the motorhome, the whole shebang. You do it the way, the way my father, and I did it for a long time, and we finally stepped up to like one of them little itty bitty motorhomes. But I saw your setup and I thought it was really cool. I mean, you guys do it with the van and the open trailer, right? So
Yep.
the open trailer is the best. I love it. Everybody can see the car on the highway. You get waves, you get thumbs up. And then, you and dad in the van, I've seen your girlfriend in there doing her homework. You got a support system. Like this is cool, man. So I I've watched you and I've seen the way you can drive. You've proven yourself. In my eyes, you're top 5 right now. You're number 5 in Stock Eliminator points. So, I mean, you are no slouch by any stretch of the imagination here. So, thank you for coming on the show.
No problem, Bobby.
Now, tell us a little bit about this Caprice that you're driving. The one that you guys own here is a J Stock Automatic 96 Caprice. What was that, like a cop car or a taxi cab or anything at one time?
It wasn't. It's actually was an Impala, and my parents bought it brand new from the dealer in '96. So before I was born, they bought it. It was an Impala. And believe it or not, they actually used it as a tow vehicle to tow my dad's old stalker, which was a third gen Camaro. So when I was a little boy, like a couple months old, I was in the back seat of the Impala, riding around the country, towing my dad's old stalker.
I don't want to fall down the
Awesome.
I don't want to fall down the well or anything, but if they had that before you were born, it maybe wasn't the first time you were in the back seat.
Wow. Probably a good point.
Yeah, right.
He's never going to drive that car the same.
That's kind of gross for me to think about. I didn't really need that in my head.
Anybody that races you next
cool,
year,
though.
you're welcome.
Eric, I remember sitting in the back of the red the super stock car that I drive now. It was, a race car, but my father and my mother sitting in the front seat driving up to the lanes, and me sitting in the back between like roll bars and stuff, just being a little kid and just thinking it was so cool. And now the fact that I actually get to drive and race that car is like really cool too. And I still have a picture of the whole family in there right by the the ignition button and everything, and it just reminded me of the old days. So that's cool that you used to sit in the back seat of that car and now you're racing it. So tell us a little bit about the car. What's the combo and how long you've been driving it, etc.
So I actually took my first lap in it when I was 15. But it had a 265 motor in it then, running like low 13s. And then when I turned 17, after my first year, we put the 350 back in. So it's a 350 LT1, runs in J, K, or L. Usually running J though. It has to weigh 3905 in J weight.
Wow.
Yeah, was originally rated at 260 and now it's rated at 299. So
350, 260, 299. Who got that beat up? You?
Probably us back in the day. When I don't know if you guys remember, but Brent Derrick used to drive it for my dad before I was 16, and he beat it up a couple of times. I'm pretty sure it was all us. I don't know if anyone else had this combo. So.
Oh man. All right, that's a tough one. So the car has been in your family since it was a street car. Did your father build it into a race car, or did he have somebody do that?
Well, Tom Russell and Gary Russell, they did like the roll bar and that sort of stuff and the motor. They did a lot. So yeah, my dad and Brent just did the little intricacies, however you say that word.
Intricacy.
Yeah, you get it.
No, I forget the word. Yeah.
That's why you're a math tutor.
Brian, help us out. What's the word?
I said that's why you're a math tutor.
Yeah, I know, right?
So who does the motors now?
Tom Russell still does it.
Are they near you in Ohio?
Yeah, they live in Canton, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes from me.
Right now, you actually drove one of their cars, the a stick Camaro, right? B stick.
Yep. Yeah, I I think that was 2 years ago. I blew the motor up in my car at Gainesville. I think it was Gainesville. And then there was another race coming up, like quick. And I was like, Tom, we got to get this motor back together, you know? And he was like, well, why don't you just hop in the red car? And I was like, you serious? I don't know if I can drive a stick. But yeah, we threw everything we had to do, threw that together. Once we could take it to the track, before we loaded on the trailer, everyone always said the hardest thing in a stick is the burnout. So I pulled into his front yard with it and practiced doing a burnout in his front yard in that thing. And it went all right. So we took it to Norwalk for the points meet. And a really embarrassing story is, so my first lap in it, I don't know if you do this in your car or not, but I had to like hold the line lock, you know, as the tree was coming down with my foot on the clutch and flooring it. And when I was trying to leave, I kept the clutch in, I kept it floored, and all I did was let go of the line lock, like with my finger. And I was like, why didn't this thing just go? And I was like, oh shit, I didn't let go of the clutch. That was my first pass in it. So that was kind of embarrassing. But then I started to get the hang of it.
Thought he had a trans brake for a moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my body was doing. It was like, just let go of the button and that's it.
How were you doing the burnout? Were you shifting during the burnout, or were you just doing like a third gear?
Yeah. No, I believe I think I started in third and shifted to fourth, I think. If I remember right.
What kind of transmission was that? Was that a Jericho, or was that like a G-Force or Liberty or something modern?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's like the loopy style burnout, you know, might as well hit all 4 gears on the way through there. I think Sheila and Jared are that way. They just use all the gears. They'd have 18 speed in there. They'd be doing 18 speed burnouts.
Throw it in reverse while you're at it. Yeah, no, I got rid of that whole, when I first started, I had to hold the clutch pedal and the shifter handle button at the same time. And I put a relay in where just the clutch pedal, you know, once the clutch is pushed to the floor at the stage, it's taken over. So I don't have to hold the button on the shifter anymore. Everything is just release the clutch. It releases the 2-step, it releases the line lock, and it releases obviously the drivetrain. So yeah, that's how I kind of, you know, I have to make these things dummy proof. I can't do too many things at once.
Exactly. That's what I need to.
So with your 350 cubic inch, I still can't believe that thing weighs 3,900 all the way up in J. I'm down in K with mine when 2990, I think it is. So, man, you got 1,000 pounds on me, and you're a class above me. That's crazy. Of course, your motor is leaps and bounds way better than mine. Even that 265. Do you remember what you had to weigh when you had the 265, the baby LT1 in there? What class did you run with that?
I ran like Q automatic mostly. I think it was Q and R. I think Q is the natural class. I can't remember how much it had to weigh though. I ran it for 1 year and I hated it. I was like, Dad, can we please put the 350 back in?
It's tough when you're all the way down in Q like that, and the
it
thing is just kind of chugging down track, and it's like you know, get a little breeze, it slows the car down a couple hundredths, you know, you get a tailwind, it picks it up a tenth. It's just hard, and you're getting chased by a mile. I think it just makes it tough.
Yeah, I didn't feel very competitive in it, but some guys are really good in slow cars. I mean, it's awesome for them, but not for me. I wish I was that talented, but I'm not.
What do you run for a transmission? You metric 200?
No, I actually run a 700 R4 with a governor in it. So, yeah, not very racy.
Oh, so you're not using the E-shift?
Nope, just has a governor.
I like you even more now, Eric.
Just puts it in drive and goes.
Yeah, so fun.
Well, at least it's doing it by the governor. I mean, that's respectable. That's the way it was, you know.
That's all my dad. All my dad's choices.
Who builds the transmissions?
Carl Rossler and sometimes Marco Abruzzi goes through them too.
Okay. I see your dad out there, he's prepping the cars, he's working on the cars. Do you give him, do you write him a little thank you note after each race, or do you take him out to dinner at the end of the day?
I go to dinner with him, if that counts.
You let him buy you dinner.
Exactly.
Well, let's hope he's not listening now. We don't want to give him any ideas, but
Right.
now tell us about this heads up you had recently in St. Louis.
Yeah. Okay, so St. Louis National Event, I saw on the ladder I would have Wes Neely in the semis. And I was like, if I make it to the semis, I mean, there's like a 60% chance he's going to be in semis too, because he's a damn good driver. He's chasing the world right now. And we've ran 3 times before St. Louis, and I'm 1-2 against him. We were dead even in the NHRA stuff. I ran him in Classic, Belrose, and Gainesville. He was about 500s faster than me at Belrose, and I was about 500s faster than him at Gainesville. For whatever reason, it flip-flopped. Then I ran him at St. Louis for the Class Racer Revival race, and I was in the 25 grander, so it hurt really bad. But for whatever reason, he went an 11:13 on a 12:45 index, and I ran a 11:35 or something like that, nowhere near him, which I don't know how he picked all that up, but whatever. So moving on to St. Louis for the national, that was kind of in the back of my head, like, wow, you ran 11:13 here, like there's no freaking way I can do that. But obviously he's not going to do that in an NHRA race. So we did everything we can: oil, ice, later, weight, not very much, took about 15-ish pounds out. That's all we could take out. And then got up there, did my burnout, a real choppy burnout. Didn't want to go, didn't want to rev up. So finally did though, pulled out of the water, tried to clear it out a couple of times, and I had my foot to the freaking floor and it wouldn't go past 3 grand. And I kept trying to get it a little more warm. And I mean, he was sitting in pre-stage for a minute, so I was like, I gotta roll in. Rolled in, bumped in, hit, swapped feet, and it just died pretty much, just stuttered, and then eventually drove out of it, started going. But I mean, by that point, obviously it's pretty much over. So that stung a little bit, especially because I had a good opportunity to improve on points. But yeah, that's how I gotta love stock. I signed up for it, so.
That's unfortunate there. Now this being a fuel injected car, you're gonna have to go in there. I would just suggest, if you're cooling the car down this much and it's having these kinds of problems, you got to look at your warm up enrichment, and you have to look up, if you're in closed loop. Are you in closed loop?
That's another thing, Bobby, is I can't even get into the computer because it's an old Excel program. So no laptop will plug into it. So that's another, I gotta upgrade that. Like I can't do anything on the computer.
All right. Well, you are let's consider you're a high profile driver right now, okay? You're top 5 in Stock Eliminator.
Yeah.
Get on the phone, call up fast, XFI or Holly or somebody. Somebody will make a deal with you because you travel a lot. You're a young guy. You're active on social media. You'll put their name out there. I think somebody would be happy to work with you. Okay. And give you a nice discount on something like that, because that is very important. There could be horsepower hidden inside this thing that you haven't even unlocked yet.
I'm sure there is, yeah.
But what I'm thinking is if that thing's in closed loop right now at too low a temperature, it could be in closed loop on top of a warm-up enrichment. It could just be loading it up. When you get back from a run like that where it wouldn't run, you pull a plug, I mean, The thing's either going to be completely black or completely white. There's really going to be no in between with that. So you would just have to figure out if that thing is just too lean or too rich in those heads up, cool the motor down situations. But
Yeah.
I had that Excel program, and it was a pain to try and get into that thing.
Yep. Yeah. It's an upgrade. Hopefully I can make this winter, but we'll see.
All right, well, work some overtime today. Obviously not right now
Yeah.
because you're joining us, but let's talk about where you had a fortunate heads up situation at Indy, because I witnessed this one with my own eyes. I was standing there next to you in the burnout box, just kind of spectating. And I think you can tell us a good story about that one.
Yeah, so I had Johnny Fisher second round at Indy. We were both in the teardown barn next to each other. What would that be? Friday after first round. I knew I had him, so I was like, hey, at least I know he'll be legal when he kicks my ass. And you know how that is. I mean, he had 2.5 tenths on me, so like Friday I was kind of depressed. Like I'm going home second round of India. It sucks, But I did everything I could to the car. Just maybe he'll be 0.3 on the tree or something like that. We did everything we could. I was feeling depressed, down all day on Friday. Then I staged up, and once I got staged, I seen his red light come on, and I was like, holy, you know what? And yeah, that was that. I mean, and it was really cool. It felt like I won the whole goddamn race. When I was coming back to my trailer, there was like every other rig was hollering at me. I was like, I didn't know you guys cared this much or even knew about this, but it was awesome. So it was just, God is good. God was with me for that one for sure, but I'll take it.
Right, so you're gonna have the unfortunate ones, you're gonna have the fortunate ones, and that's the
Exactly.
way this game is, man. It's
Exactly. Right place, right time.
Hopefully you remember that next time. But I'm the same way. Like, get a heads up. I'm kicking rocks. Like, oh, I might as well just go home. This sucks. And
Yeah, that's how I was feeling. I'm like, I'm not gonna freaking change my oil again, dude. This is like the fourth time I've changed it this week. And then I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do.
that's pretty cool.
you got me intrigued now. Yeah, I want to get in this computer of yours.
Yeah.
You
You're more
bas-
than welcome to.
You basically just take out the there's probably just screws, flathead screws. You take 4 of those out, and there's just a bunch of switches in there. You switch up or down like the old style.
I had one of these. You should see it.
Get out the abacus and make some adjustments.
Brian would just be like, just pull the red wire out. Maybe that'll help.
That's something I would do.
No, I would just scratch my head and close the hood, Bobby.
Well, what's your favorite racetrack there? Since you're an Ohio native and you travel everywhere, you probably have something good for us.
That's a great question. I mean, no, it'll be something that everyone knows. I really do love St. Louis because, I love big cities, and I just think it's so awesome how you can see the city from the track. And on top of that, a little gas station across the street, got Taco Bell, you got Subway, got a good gas station, take a shower if you want, and you could ride your golf cart there. I like that a lot, especially someone that doesn't have a motorhome. I can't shower.
All the amenities.
Being on all asphalt like that was pretty cool too. Like I went there for the, Bohannon's race, and it was just neat being on all pavement, like no dirt, no sand.
Yep.
And if I remember right, that gas station had killer breakfast burritos.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the gas station, especially because it's got Subway and Taco Bell.
Going back to that, so you were at Bohannon's race too. What were your thoughts there?
I thought it was awesome, dude. I didn't go to Bo's race a couple weeks before that, and I regretted that a lot. Number one, because it looked like a blast. Number two, because I'm doing all this NHRA stuff, and I have my complaints about it, just like everyone else sometimes. And there I am, not supporting that. So I felt pretty shitty about that. So I'm gonna make it a priority to hit those races. I loved it. I loved how, you lose first round, okay, get into another race, It was awesome.
'Cause you had
New race every day.
pretty good luck
So,
there in with the CIC race, didn't you?
oh man, I don't know if that might have been a race I won without any luck. I mean, if I lost that, that would have been kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. I had I think that I was 2 seconds under the index, and the next fastest guy in it was maybe 150, I think. I don't know.
Or wasn't Kopecky in there with his Charger?
I'm not sure. I ran Irvin Johns in the final, I'm pretty sure, with his GTO, I believe. Or G6, something like that.
Yeah, the Indiana Johns car, one of the
Yeah. Was it a
Pontiac G5, I think.
G5,
Well,
yeah.
there's a couple. I mean, they just race each other in Irving Johns and Todd France. They both have Indiana Johns cars. One's a Pontiac, one's a Cobalt, I think, or a Cavalier or something.
Yeah.
The car that you were driving at St. Louis, 2 seconds under, that was an Ernie Neal car. How'd you get hooked up with Ernie Neal and get started driving his cars?
Him and my dad are pretty good friends, and I mean, the fact that I drove my dad's car, he thought it'd be cool if I drove that. And I was like, sure, why not? So, yeah, obviously we don't have a 2-car trailer or anything, so we drove from my house to his house in Indiana. On the way to St. Louis, stopped there. I put the van on his trailer with the Caprice, used that to tow, which was pretty freaking scary. And then my dad used, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if Bobby remembers the old Trailblazer SS we had that we used to tow around with. We used that to tow the Stalker on the open trailer. And then we got to St. Louis and I ran both of them.
Now, other than that CIC race, which you dominated, did you go far rounds with his car in the regular big money eliminator?
Yeah, I got down to 8 in the 25 in his car, and then I screwed up pretty bad. Missed it. I was 80, which I blamed that on the night before. Stayed out a little too late. Got a little too tipsy there. But we had a great time. That was during the cookout. Remember he had that cookout or racer appreciation party? And we stayed out a late night after that. So
Well, how come I wasn't invited?
you were invited, Bobby.
My goodness.
I think Bobby
You're
was
always invited.
Bobby was too busy running around looking for parkas.
I know what that is.
No, it was just an awesome event. Hopefully there's going to be more in the works. I haven't heard too much yet, but
Yeah.
I would strongly support any of those if I have a race car by then. That was the hard part about that one, is I think that being that early made it a little tough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if Tyler will get mad at me, but I was talking to him at St. Louis, and he said he's gonna have another one, and it'll be early in the year, but not as early, he told me. So
All right.
What were your thoughts on the format? Is there anything you would change or anything you liked or didn't like?
I mean, it would be hard to do, but if there was one thing, I would say run class, regular class. That would be cool. But I feel like you would have to, I mean, you don't have to. There's some guys that will run for a trophy, but if there was some money involved to win class, that would be badass. Nothing crazy, just something. But I know, I mean, shit, if you look at the car count, he didn't really make anything doing that. So I don't know if he has any more money to give away.
I think what you could almost do is, lower the payout, because what was it, 25? Say they paid 15 or even 10 to win and use some of that money to pay down more rounds. Just pay more money, lower rounds, would be less out of his pocket, but I think it would generate more cars just because, there's going to be more money going across. Pay more lower and a little less on the top, I think would be a good idea.
Yeah. I feel that. Like, I mean, I don't remember what it was to runner up, but like, I feel like there's splits that are talking like, I mean, there wasn't any at 8 cars, but I feel like the next round people will start splitting, and it's like, I mean, same with the big money stuff. Like, why not just make the purse how the racers want it anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it was split both
Right.
days in the semis. I don't remember
yeah,
what. I think we split it like. I don't remember if it was 56 or 6,000 or something's what I ended up getting for semis. So that was good. But realistically, if it would have been 3, I would have been just as happy. But have more money down
exactly.
low.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, I agree. Just if everybody's going to split at that point, then or at least 95% of racers would split at that point. Just lower the payout down. I think we do have to put more of a focus on class. It needs to be included at everything. And I'm totally going to go off a limb here and say, even at nationals, like if we want to get seen by more spectators, I think they need to make running class like a thing. Spectators can understand that. Oh, first car to the finish line wins. Old muscle cars, first car to the finish line wins. How about something crazy like let's qualify, run the eliminator, get that out of the way, and then run class on Saturday and Sunday. Something like that, or start paying more money for class, or maybe put a couple pairs of class on TV.
hmm
You get a cool
Or
like a heads up double A stock, 2 old muscle cars doing big wheelies. I think that'd be a pretty cool one to put on TV. Try and get us a little
yeah,
recognition.
or I know they did this a couple years, but it was cool when they had a points chase for class. Remember that? Like,
Yes, I forgot about that.
yeah,
Right.
that was awesome. Cause like my dad, that's when my dad had the 265, and he would like, chase points in class, and I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy from Kentucky, Gary
Summer?
Summers with the T stock. I think he was like dominating that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
What do
that
you
was
think?
cool.
I wanted to run this by y'all. So like, you know how like there's only 60 or 70 cars entered at a national event nowadays? So what if they did, um, what do you think about having 70 cars at a national event and 64 make the field? So qualifying matters. You know what I'm saying? You guys think like would the stock eliminator crowd like that? Because I mean, it's only 6 people going home. It would be like I mean, I don't know what the bump would be, but from 70 to 64, it'd probably be separated by what, like 500s maybe? Like that would be tight, and qualifying would matter. It'd be true performance matters in qualifying. I just think that would be cool. And then it'd be like a straight up race with no buys at 64
Right.
cars.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be cool.
You could even use the alternates like you do at Indy if you wanted to really
Exactly.
eliminate the buys.
It honestly, it would be just like Top Drakes or Top Sportsman, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. We
I,
gotta, and this is coming from me, who was like a 3 and 4 under player for years. Like,
yeah,
you gotta put the performance back in this stock and super stock because that's what it was.
yep.
So if you want to take 80 and qualify 64, do it. Plus, that'll help the AHFS start working. If you have to
hmm
qualify, that's the only way that system's gonna work. Or if you have
Exactly. Like
to beat somebody in class, if you want to beat somebody in class, that's the only way that thing's gonna work.
Well, what's the
yeah.
what's the downside of capping it? Like, why would you even cap it at 80? Let 100 sign up. NHRA gets their
Because
money.
They argue they don't have the parking for that and stuff, or the time to run all those cars, I guess, in qualifying. I don't
That would be the
I don't
problem, I
know.
guess, just the time. And I think that's even like Bohan's race with class. Like, I'm glad they
yeah,
did. I'm glad they didn't because they had, one little weather event there could have made that deal go a lot different. I mean, at the end of the day, you
oh
still
yeah,
only have so much time to get everything done. And I'm glad they did less really well instead of trying to do too much and just make it a disaster because people had a bad taste in their mouth. So, I mean,
yeah,
so
But
I
at the
get
same
that.
time, it's tough with those where it's just stock and super stock. There is not even enough time. You go from a divisional or national where you have a whole day to get your car ready to now you only have 8 minutes to get your car ready.
yep,
And it's like, come back up, stock, come back, super stock, come back.
yeah.
Like, it gets to the point where you're like, damn it, can't they just like call some junior dragsters or something, snowmobiles up
Yeah.
there just to let me cool
But
my
just
car down?
it's so weird to say like I remember thinking that for a second too at Tyler's race. It's just so weird because normally I'm like, sitting around all day like this sucks. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd rather have it be like Tyler's like go 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 go. I just think that's awesome. But yeah, I remember thinking the same thing as you. Like Jesus.
That was kind of my favorite part. Like even a lot of times, when I'm go to the association races around here, I'll still, if there's an index race or something, I'll hop in that, run 2 classes, and
Yep.
it's kind of fun just to keep you. I mean, I need as many rounds as I can get, many hits at the tree, and I just like to practice and just feel like it helps give me more information on my car. Now, granted, you're wearing parts out. Now I have a broken motor, but I got a lot of passes on it and got a lot of experience really quick, and that's what's kind of fun. It just makes the day like I'm there to race. If there wasn't class, I'd be doing index or whatever with my stalker. Like I'm there to race. I want to go down the track. And you know what? I think it doesn't hurt some of these guys used to sitting around and having all day to prep things. It doesn't hurt them to have to move a little faster. I think there should be a shot clock at the end of staging lanes. So when they call you and they say first call, you have 10 minutes to get in the lanes. If you don't, you don't get to pull up. You want to talk about freaking people out? Then all of a sudden, people aren't sitting around waiting forever to be the last car in. We'd really make people mad then.
Oh yeah, there would be fist fights at the top of the lanes. So Eric, now that your season's over, do you guys pull the motor out? Do you freshen it up this year, or do you go a couple years with those? I mean, how many runs do you get out of a motor like that?
This year we're not freshening it up. The motor now probably has, I'd say 250 to 300 runs on it. I mean, we're just gonna, I mean, you know how it is. You've seen our stuff. We don't got the most money and all that, so trying to ball on a budget here. So we're not gonna freshen it up this year. If anything, I'll get the EFI program updated, and that would probably be the only upgrade we're gonna do on that thing. My uncle has a 69 Camaro we're working on. Try to make it. We have the motor and we have a stick trans and an auto trans for E-automatic or E-stick. So we're gonna try to get that together. It used to be a bracket car, so it's like already a race car. So we just gotta make it, a stalker and change it into they want to make it a stick. I don't necessarily want that, but they do. So yeah, hopefully that'll be together by next year too.
I wonder if that's
mess around with that.
So is that like voting at Bobby's house? Hey, Dad, I think we should do this. No. Hey, Dad, what if we try this?
That's how,
no.
That's how it is at my house.
Believe me, there were years there where I was like, let's just put an automatic in this damn thing. What are we doing? No, he wouldn't. No, the car's a stick. It has to stay a stick. It's just, he didn't want to hear it. So,
yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
RPM you turn in that thing, Eric?
About 7,500.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. First stocker motor.
So
250 runs.
As far as being a younger guy, probably one of the younger, I want to call you a kid, kind of a kid compared to old people like me. But what are ideas you have to get more people, younger generation, into class?
That is a very hard thing to do. Honestly, like, I don't even think that's where it should, would start. I think it would start at the local track that the kids are close to. Go there, see that you can. That just goes back to bracket racing roots. See that you can take your car there and just run it and win money, and then from there, you go. Well, this is what I do. I run the NHRA tour. I go, to St. Louis, to Michigan, to all there. You could build a car for that. Obviously it's more expensive. You could do that, and you could travel the country, and you could be a world champion. I think it should, I don't think you can just, I'm trying to think of my friends. I can't just, I try to talk to them about class racing. And when I talk about the heads up stuff, yeah, that's easy to explain, more easy than bracket racing. But if I just take, I live right by Quaker City. So if I take them there and show them yeah, this is what I'm doing tonight, that car you drove here, you can enter it in the street. And I think that's where it should start, and from there go into class racing, because I don't know how I would, you know, get them into class racing.
Well, and I see a lot of power. Like, we probably have one of the better associations in the country right now for running stock, super stock. But, you know, we're at those little tracks running, and it's kind of fun to watch. The people come to watch, you know, when stock. I mean, we're kind of like the pros when we come to those tracks. You know, everybody watches. The wheel stands are cool, and it gets people excited about it. But, you know, I think
exactly.
when I look at the people I race with all the time at our association races, and then you watch them, like, you know, Rochelle T-Bears in Texas, you know, a lot of these people are going to the association races. Now you can watch them on TV or NHRA and watch them go on the big tracks and do pretty darn good. I mean, I wonder how many more people are racing NHRA today because of the association we have. I would have never raced a stock eliminator car if we didn't have the association. And,
Okay.
you know, I just went to my first national event. I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. It's not like our association races, but it's still pretty fun. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, kind of a grassroots effort, like you said, at the local track, or maybe supporting these associations just to go to those smaller tracks. I could definitely agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah.
You would definitely need some brand ambassadors. And I think at the local tracks, that's great if you find people and you can get one person to like actually pay attention to what's going on with stock or super stock or bracket racing, then that's great. But I still think that national events, the crowd's already there. You got to do, I mean, if you want, I try to do everything I can. Everybody that walks by, hand them a flyer. It explains stock and super stock on the flyer, and try to just tell them about it. I mean, the hundreds of people that walk by and I give flyers to, maybe one or two of them might go home and put together a car. It would be cool though if there was a class maybe that the NHRA would bring to a divisional or national, like the car that you drove in off the street. It would have to pass like a tech inspection, of course, but have, you know, maybe have something like that there for people to get their feet wet, maybe get excited about it, and then from there maybe they would branch off into class racing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Obviously I don't know the perfect system. I'm just trying to brainstorm like always.
I'm more
They
on
actually
Eric's.
had a.
I'm more on Eric's side though. I don't think you can start at NHRA level. I think you have to start, like you said, at the local track. I mean, it's hard to get, like, how many people are sitting at home just watching NHRA TV? Like, if you're not into drag racing, you're not gonna buy NHRA TV. You're not gonna watch online. You're not gonna watch on TV. Like, that's, people watch John Force because they went to the local track and then they just went up from there. They didn't just start watching John Force and be like, hey, I'm gonna bet a race car. So I like your idea.
Well, that's why I'm saying national events where the crowd's already there. They're there to see John Force, and they didn't know that we were going to be there. And that's where you intercept them and say, hey, here's what we do. This is my car. Because a lot of them will be like, oh, this car's really cool. When do you go off? And be like, I lost 2 days ago. I'm still here. Like, there's only two cars left in this category. They're racing today at 1:00. Like, that's kind of the worst part about it. Sunday, there's only 4 cars left. People that only come on Sunday to watch final eliminations are not really going to get a taste of class racing.
So is the theory that the spectators at these national events are racers themselves primarily?
Probably not.
No.
The majority of them, no. But at St. Louis, they had a high school class, which was kind of cool. I think it was 8 cars in a high school class. It was pretty sweet.
There you go.
If you got a fake ID, you could have ran your car there.
Exactly.
But no,
and then another thing they did there, which was cool, that first time I seen in a while, is at 8 cars you got into Sunday, and I figured we would run in the morning before the pros. Well, they did first round of the pros, then the quarters of Lucas Oil, then second round of the pros, then the semis of Lucas Oil, then third round of the pros, then the final Lucas Oil, then the final of the pros. I think that's a good system to have.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't follow. I maybe I saw that and I forgot, but I'm gonna email NHRA about that and say thank you. Like that's great.
I should do the same.
Bombard them with thank you emails about that. That's what has to happen. You have to race, and at least it was down to 8 cars and not 4. They got to see 3 rounds.
And it was such an even, like, it makes total sense. Like, everything finished, all the Lucas stuff finished when the pro, like, you know, like that's how I think that was a perfect system, honestly.
Yep. That's how they did it at Maple Grove when I won. We were just down to 4 cars, but still, it was like first and second round of pros, then us,
Yes.
then third round of pros, then us, then the pros.
Yeah.
So the place was packed. Unfortunately, at Charlotte, they ran early in the morning before the pros, and then they ran the finals after the pros. And there was, sadly, nobody in the stands for either of those.
So an interesting comment just came in, and I would agree 100%. Derek said, I think some of the problem is getting the idea out of people's heads that the NHRA or class racing is way more expensive than a bracket car. And I would agree with that 110%. I mean, I get it. You know, I'll beat the drum about the association, but it's kind of the grassroots to get people into it, I feel. I can go, you know, most of our races pay, you know, I think the small ones are $2,000 to win. You know, if you win first, all you got to do is go one round and you get your $100 entry fee back. If you make it the second round, you get a $100 entry fee back. You know, where if you're in a bracket race, you might go 6-7 rounds for what do they win? $500-$600? I mean, we can get that to go to quarters. I mean, and it's, I don't know. At the end of the day, yeah, there's some budget builds out there that, you know, there's combos out there that are really easy and affordable to get into. And I think maybe just more knowledge, you know, or maybe an ambassador on who's the budget build guy.
Billy Neese, and you will see a driver interview probably tomorrow, showcasing one of his cars.
You know, and if the associations run right, like I said, maybe I'm a little biased, but I look at the Midwest class racers, and you know, there's heads ups. I mean, you still qualify. There's still heads up. A lot of the integrity's still there. I mean, I was actually looking at the points here. Well, shout out to Jamie Peach. I race with him just about every single race. He's there. He's 11th in the national points right now, and that guy is at every association race I go to. Larry DeForest is sitting 15th. He's there every association race. I mean, there's Brent Spears, 21st in national points right now. Shetland's 24th. I mean, Cheney's 26th. We've got some real hitters, not to forget Chris Knutsen's 30th in national, or 29th in national points. I mean, there's really good drivers come to these association races because there's good money there. And the competition's as good as it can get, as long as the associations run right, and there's still heads ups, and there's some integrity.
You guys actually qualify on index, right?
Yep.
Like that's so awesome. Because do you let IHRA and like nostalgia super stockers in there? No.
They'll do. I think if there's not a NHRA index, if there's not an index for, how is that? If there's not a class in it for NHRA, they will let an IHRA. Like there's.
Okay.
At a couple of the races, they'll let in like a crate motor class, like the old IHRA crate motor class, but that's pretty much the only one.
Okay. Yeah. See, I think that's so awesome because I run the Buckeye one, which is just all in Ohio, and we qualify off reaction time. There's no heads ups. They let a bunch of nostalgia super stockers in, whatever the hell that is. Like, they just seem like bracket cars that are older. You know, I think that Midwest series is badass. You guys qualify like a real race. You know, you got heads ups. I think that's badass. Do you guys weigh and do like fuel after heads ups, or
there's not?
Is it just like
I don't
honest? It's just be honest, you know?
No,
is that how it is?
There's scales at pretty much every race. Pretty much, they actually have scales, and they're actually I think they scale the heads up cars. Some of the races will scale you every run. Fuel check, that's kind of tough to do. I haven't seen much for fuel check, but that's, to me, that's not as important as the weight.
The weight, yeah.
Right.
And there's some tech getting implemented too.
Yeah, I just think that's badass. Because I met Jamie this year. I love Jamie, and then his daughter Abby. We were talking, and like that's how I heard about the Midwest series. I was like, that's so much cooler than the series that I'm in. But
maybe see what's going on. All right, because I think that's still rolling. I think so.
Recording is still rolling.
Yeah. All right, we just had some technical difficulties. Our power on Main Street decided to go away here at the studio.
Maybe it's the Facebook crash. That didn't seem nearly as important as when the power went out.
Right. So if you just bear with us, those that are still on here, if you wouldn't mind, give us a thumbs up on the in the comments on Facebook just to make sure we're still there. If you would, that would be awesome. And we'll try to get these other guys back online here.
Yeah, you can live without
All right.
Facebook. Power makes it way more difficult.
Super stock
right.
or GT car.
Okay, gentlemen,
So-
hang on one sec.
Yeah.
You have us now? All right. So we're still live on Facebook, so this will be a fun show. Let me get this switched over.
We're still having a conversation here. We didn't even know anything happened.
That's the problem.
You know when Facebook crashed, nobody really knew. Yeah, when the power goes out at the studio, it's interesting.
Nobody knows. Oh. All right.
Well,
So
we have to let this gentleman get back to work.
'Kay.
So
all right. Carry on. Do your wrap up there, and then.
no, we were just discussing, any car, if we had unlimited budgets, what kind of car you would drive. So Eric just told us,
Oh.
and they're probably the exact right cars that you would want to have in super stock.
So do you want to
So-
like?
Now I'm gonna have to listen
expand
to
on
this.
that? Right.
Everybody else heard. We're the only ones in the dark, literally.
You'll just have to listen. That's all. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks, Eric.
I don't think
we can
everyone
let
else
Brian
heard.
hear what we said about him while he was gone.
It's just not going to be there. So
Oh, it's not there.
no, because the feed to Facebook comes from this building.
Okay. Well, this is why we don't usually do live because of
Well,
weird
things that have never happened before. I like it.
things that never happen
Right.
when there's a Fazio involved. I've been called a mush multiple times.
Nice. All right. Well, Eric, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Perfect. All right. Okay. Pick up where you left off, and then we'll get there.
That's a good question. I don't.
We were talking about the association and how the Midwest Class Racers are the best association in the country, and everybody else should follow our model.
We talk about
Pretty
that every
much.
episode. That's true.
That's
And then
another
we were-
thing I wanted to say real quick. I felt like I was bashing my own series. I love my series. It's awesome, but like I just think if we adopted that model, it would make it that much better. Now, granted, like I think maybe 2 tracks out of all the ones we race at even have scales. So that would kind of be shitty. I understand why we don't do that, but like I just think the Midwest model is the best model. But I do love my series, and it's a great way to race close to home, the kind of racing I love to do. So I appreciate them guys. Jeff Ross, all the Rosses. Them are some good damn people. They always bump the payouts when we have big car counts for us. Free best losing packages, get $100 first round. Dial for dollars, first qualifier, get $100. That's your entry right there. So them are some good people, man.
Yeah, the scale thing's pretty easy with just a set of portables. Like if the association has portables and they bring them every time, that just for
Okay.
at least doing for heads ups. A lot of times we'll do that where you the heads ups way, just to keep it somewhat fair.
Right.
We have an update from Sheila Holt. Update on the rescheduled Houston National event that's right now being held at the Texas Motorplex. In Superstock, Speedy Emmons got the win over Greg Stanfield, and in stock, Jerry Emmons got the win over Jeff Lopez. So,
Jerry's gonna.
yeah, Jerry just won a couple
I
days
think
ago.
that
He
was,
just won that.
I'm pretty sure that was a full claim for Jerry too. Like he got 105 points right there. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that catapulted him big time right there.
That's crazy.
Jerry is currently in 12th.
Right, and doesn't it
as
say
of this morning, and he's only claimed 2 nationals so far and 7 divisionals. He's allowed 1 more
Oh.
divisional and 4 more nationals, but he just won. He just won Nova, Oklahoma divisional, and he just won. This was a national, right? So, yes, we'll see where he goes now.
probably passed me up already?
476. If he gets 105 there, that's 576. Yeah, that throws him right into 3rd place.
Jeez, but still, Jesus, good for him, man.
So congrats, Jerry Emmons. Jerry has the A stock automatic 69 Camaro, and Speedy Emmons in super stock, which is Harvey Emmons. I don't remember which car he has in super stock. His could be the Camaro also. I don't think his is the the hood scoop car that is Terry Emmons, I believe, or is that Gary Emmons? No, I'm losing track. That's why I said the other night, I showed a picture of the triplets. I said, if you can pick out which one won in which car, they'll send you a free bottle of Lucas Oil Slick Nest.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, but before you go, what was the top car you'd build if you could build any car?
Super stock B modified Cobalt.
Terrible. Winnable, but terrible.
Best.
All right, Eric. Thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck next year. And keep in touch in the off season. Let me know if you have any questions with that fuel injection. I can definitely help you out to the best of my knowledge, and point you in the right direction. Go talk to Fast XFI. Go talk to Holly, and tell them I travel the country. Top 5. Here, call them today. I'm number 5 in Stock Eliminator, and I will promote your product.
All right.
Thank
you guys so much.
You're welcome. You take care.
All right, you too.
This is Class Racing Today. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks, Eric. Get back to work now. The rest of you that are hanging out, thanks for a little hiccup. Staying with us. We will see you on the next one. Everyone else, have a great day. Remember, Tim Stickles, Gutters by Design. Have a great day. If you want a shirt or sticker, classracingtoday@gmail.com. Check us out on social medias, Class Racing Today, and keep your eyes out. The new website is in the works. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.